Hey everybody, Jim from Jim's Coleus. How's everybody doing? I guess it's been just a few days. You know, at this point, expect pretty regular videos coming out. Mostly Coleus. I know if you're following along, I have some other interests that I kind of mix in there in the off season. But as we get into spring and summer, it's going to be strictly Coleus. But now at this point, expect the videos to become pretty regular. So if you're following along, that's even greater because then you can kind of grow Coleus along with me, which is my whole point. But again, don't get upset. Don't judge yourself based on where I'm at, because there are a lot of variables between where I am in New Jersey and maybe where you are. Even if you're in New Jersey, there's still all sorts of variables. Pretty much you should be at this point. But again, don't get upset that maybe you're doing something wrong, unless you're really, you know, your plants are dying or whatever. And in that point, in that case, shoot me a comment here on the video, or best, again, I had mentioned this earlier, Instagram is probably the best way to keep in touch with me. So subscribe, look up Jim's Coleus on Instagram, follow along. You can send me messages through Instagram, pictures. So if you have an issue with your Coleus, whatever it is, and it's never a stupid question or ever feel like there's a stupid question, just send me a photo and I'll help you along, give you some advice. Never feel there's a stupid question. Don't judge your Coleus based on mine. Again, there are a lot of variables on where your growth may be at compared to mine. So anyway, it's great that you're following along. Pass my channel on to anybody interested in growing Coleus and any kind of plant, really, because a lot of the principles, except for seeds, how you sow Coleus seeds, are pretty similar. This year I grew, last year I grew them, but this year I grew wishbone terranias again. I love those little blue flowers, as you can see here. Those seeds are sown the same way as Coleus seeds are. They're dropped on top of the moist surface, whether it's potting soil or jiffy pods. You gently press them into the soil. They need light, warmth, and moisture to germinate. So I grow them this year also, although not as quite as many as Coleus, but I do like them. I got a lot of questions during in my farmers market that I participate in. You know, do I grow any other kind of plants, herbs and so forth? I thought about that, maybe expanding, but I really don't want to. I don't want to get in. There's so many wonderful plants out there, but I'm strictly holy. I'm holy Coleus, holiest of Coleus, which is how my name kind of came about. Just strictly Coleus. Jim's Holiest of Coleus. There you go. So, all right, so let's get over. I'm going to show you my germinations, how they're at. A common question I get now is the true leaves. When can I expect my Coleus to show their true colors, the true leaves? When do I expect to get true colors? When can I get true colors? And it'll happen. Don't rush it. Don't get yourself all upset that your Coleus aren't showing colors. It'll happen. It's supposed to be enjoyable, so don't get stressed out. They'll get there. And also remember, and this goes particularly if you grow a lot of Coleus, you're going to get some that are just green. You may get a number of Coleus that, whether they're Kong, Empire Kongs, Scarlets, whatever, they're just plain green. And that happens. I'll get maybe out of 700, 600 Coleus, I may get 20 of that. And you know what? I use that as filler. People like them as filler. I don't throw them out really. So don't get upset about that. It happens. There's variations in every type of Coleus. But if you plant a Jitters Coleus seed, you're not going to get a Kong Empire unless you mix your seeds up somehow. But there's always going to be some variations. So, and again, if you need Coleus seeds, go to my eBay channel. I have an eBay listing, Jim's Coleus, seen here. I have about 10 packs of seeds left. I sold a lot of seeds this year. Next year, I'm going to sell even more. But I was pretty successful in my seed sales. So thank you very much. Everybody is following along. I want a special shout out to Andy Truitt. Andy was a customer of mine. He bought some seeds from my eBay listing. And he's grown a whole bunch of wonderful looking Coleus. He's doing really well. Thanks, Andy. Your Coleus look great. You're actually ahead of me. So there you go. But anyway, he sent me, he requested more seeds, and he sent me an extra donation, because this month I'll be donating money to the Wounded Warriors. Last month was Paralyzed Veterans. My seed sales, my YouTube revenue, I donate a portion every month to one of those organizations. Instagram, I do donation drives. You'll see it listed on my Instagram channel. I'm going to be listing a USO donation drive on my Instagram channel, and Andy, you're going to kickstart that with the donation that you gave me. So thank you very much. It's great to have friends like you following along, and everybody that follows along. So it makes me, motivates me. So all right, enough yapping. Let's get over. I'll show you where my Coleus are at. Any questions, you know where I'm at. Instagram, best place to follow me and get in touch with me. So let's go take a look at our true colors. All right, so there you go. That's a wizard, like a Kong Rose, a wizard Rose Kong Coleus. And this is what they look like when they're fully mature. But you could see, you could see the white and the beautiful pink. These are probably, I mean, I have so many favorite Coleus, but these are probably my favorite. My top favorite Coleus. They're my favorite because they're beautiful. They just reach out and grab your attention, and they sell at the farmer's market over the years. The flea markets, the craft fairs, and the farmer's market that I take place in, that I participate in, they always sell. People just gravitate to them. They're just beautiful, beautiful Coleus. So at this point now, I had mentioned, once your germinations start to appear, you have your plastic cover. Generally what you do, obviously, I'm getting back to my previous video, but you're going to pop the cover off and make sure there's oxygen getting in there. So that's basically how I keep them now in my greenhouse. Now I took them out because I have this wonderful bright bay window. I actually took them out of the greenhouse because I have this wonderful bright bay window. And if you've been following along, you know I'm always bragging about it. But this is a great bay window. It's southeast facing the ocean. Bright sunshine. I don't have any buildings obstructing anything. It's just beautiful, bright sunlight that comes in, and you can see my rootings are doing. My overwintered Coleus. I gave them a nice trim. They're doing just great. They're just screaming back. But anyway, at this point now, I have my trays. I have them. I took them out. I actually gave them a shot of water because they were drying out a little, and also I know that sitting out here like this is going to dry them out because they're getting hit with sun. This is not intense summer sun. In the summertime, this gets really bright, hot sun. So I have the shade here, but at this point, it's not intense sun that would damage these because they're so young. But this sun, and of course it's going to change as the day progresses. You can see this is sort of dappled sun, just like Coleus in the wild. How they thrive in this type of environment where you get sun with a little shade, and that's the ideal location for Coleus. So I'm getting ahead of myself or behind or what, but you can see I got one there. Didn't really make just one that's coming in. So, but I reseeded a lot of, I had like 5 or 6 pods that didn't have any Coleus, and now they're coming in. I reseeded them, and they're coming in really quick. But you can see that beautiful color coming in. Look at that. That is so beautiful. Check that out. I can't wait till that one starts to really grow. And we'll, check back, keep following along, and I'll show you. I'm going to keep that one, and that'll be my showcase Coleus here. So in another week, we'll go right back to that one. We'll see how that looks. So beautiful, beautiful. So that's the question I get is, when do my Coleus start to show their true color? So this is what, been 3 weeks since I started these. So you can get color up to 3 weeks in. But the majority of them still are very young and they don't show color. And also depending on what kind of Coleus they are. Again, this is my overseeded tray. So what I like to do is take them out of the greenhouse, take them, uncover them, put them here, get that oxygen pumping in. It's nice and warm here, gets lots of sun. Make sure they're watered, particularly around the edges. And I'll check back in a few hours. And but these pods really retain a lot of moisture, but they dry out pretty quick. So what I'll do in a few hours is I'll take the tray, the cover, and what I'll do is obviously if I see any pods that are dry, that are clearly dry, and I know just by touching them, I'll give them water. And at this point I do water these every few days. I will water these. Underneath, on the bottom, what have you, I have a very gentle shower that I kind of go over to make sure all of the pods get water. But these trays have the holes so the water will go through. But I make sure that every one of them stay moist. And the cover will help. So I'll actually put the cover on these in a few hours. But I want to make sure we get some oxygen pumping in. So do that. Once your Coleus are at this point, air them out, get some air going. It's not warm out, but there's no draft coming in. These are new windows. This is pretty draft free. Otherwise I wouldn't do this. Plus the sun coming in. So there's no danger of frost. Later on in the day, obviously I'll have these back in the greenhouse. But this gives it a little bit of a break from the grow lights. But there's nothing better than natural sunlight, just like rainwater. You can water your grass all day long with your lawn sprinklers, but there's nothing like a nice rainstorm. So nature is it. Nature is the way to go. So, but you can see some overseeded Coleus pods here, but primarily they're all pretty manageable. And just keep in mind, later videos, I will have a video on how to separate these. A question I got last week, very good question. Can I just plant these pods? I'm like, sure, absolutely. So you have those two. Those will be, you can take that pod right now and put it in a pot of potting soil. And you don't even have to take the membrane. That membrane, roots will go right through the membrane. So you don't need to take that membrane off. You can, it has a little perforations on the side. You can do that. And they'll pretty much stay together. They're sort of like cupcakes. So you can actually take a pod and put it right into a pot. Which is why I like these. And they also separate very easy. So if I have two Coleus in here, here's one. You can just pop that right into a pot. You can take the membrane on or leave the membrane in. But these are very easy to separate, and I'll shoot out a video in a few weeks on how I separate these Coleus. I'll thin a few of these out, but I'll shoot out a video on how to separate these. This is my sailfin plico. His name is Hank. As you can see, he's pretty big. And I wish he had his fin up, but they call him sailfin because they got these huge dorsal fins. and he's a beautiful, beautiful fish. It's just him in here in his cave. They're not social in a tank this size. You really only can keep one anyway. There we go. He's got his dorsal up. He's probably a little nervous because I have the light on, but he's pretty intelligent. He actually comes out here when he wants to be fed or he's going poop. You can see on the filter, I have to clean that. But anyway, that's my sailfin plico Hank. He's about 10 years old. They can live up to be 18 years old. Very interesting. But again, they're pretty intelligent. He comes out when he wants to be fed. And that's that little fish there. He keeps knocking that over and he likes to rest on it. And when he's cold in the back, he puts his head right under the heater. So it's pretty interesting. Okay, and before we close, again, I mentioned I planted some wishbone Taranias. And I also had some extra pods in the back that I threw some Coleus seeds down on. So you can see, I just planted these, I think 3-4 days ago. So the wishbone Taranias are coming in kind of slow. I think they may have been covered a little bit when I pressed them into the soil. That's why they're coming in slow, but they are coming in. But you can see the Coleus are sprouting. So we got the heat mat going. And I have the cover. And again, if you don't have a trade, you can just use anything. This is an aluminum pan. And I just have the cover and the grow lights going. So those will be they'll be coming in shortly. Beautiful plants. At this point, also, I don't fertilize. You're not fertilizing at this point, so don't use any fertilizer yet. You can burn them. It's just not time for fertilizer yet. I don't use fertilizer. I'll start to use like a time release fertilizer in another, I want to say 3 weeks or so. When I separate these Coleus and I put them in nursery pots, that's when I sprinkle in some of this, the time release fertilizer pellets, the Miracle Grow or whatever brand, time release, general purpose fertilizer pellets. So do not fertilize these young germinations as of yet. All right, everybody, so I hope that helped out. Keep following along. Again, don't get upset if you're not quite at my point. Don't have to get upset if you're wizards or your rose kongs that you have aren't showing the pink yet. Don't get upset because again, there's a lot of variables. Just keep following along, doing what you're doing. Again, any questions, just shoot me a message. Anything, never a stupid question, and I'll help out. Photos, Instagram, and I'll give you some help. So, all right. So stay tuned. We'll be shooting out. As I promised, we'll get back to you with that beautiful Wizard Rose Kong, that beautiful fuchsia pink Wizard Rose. I can't wait. So another week or so, probably before, we'll shoot out another video, and we'll see how things go from there. So stay tuned. Thanks for following along. Jim's Holiest of Coleus. Take care, everybody. Have a great rest of your week.